how did this show come about? I mean, I guess we start with Ray and those 13 years as a stand-up comic.
Take us through each year.
Yeah, I was a stand-up before the show, and I had done, the Tonight Show and the HBO specials, and this and that. And then it was when I did my first Letterman. I did my first Letterman spot back in, I believe it was May of 96.
Five, was it?
Well, the show aired in 96, right? So it was May of 96 when I did Letterman for my first time. I did a 6-minute spot on Letterman. And I went home, and that weekend, it was a Saturday, I got a call from the producer, Rob Burnett, saying that we're interested in signing you for a development deal, which meant they want to sign me for like a year's time and try to develop a show based on what they saw in the 6 minutes of my material. All right, I'm lying. I'm lying. My father is Les Moonves. So we signed a development deal. It was a couple weeks later when HBO came aboard. Then it was Rob Morton was one of the executive producers of Letterman, and he was friends with Stu Smiley at HBO. And he brought Stu Smiley in, and so HBO, they became joint producers. And they took me to LA in, I guess it was a couple months after that, maybe early September, to meet with potential showrunners, potential executive producers to run the show. And I met 12 people who were in the same position as Phil were. They had never run a show, but they were close. They were, I guess, one step before running a show. And I met each one of them. We had lunch, dinner. Yeah. And each one I met, we just kind of went over what my life was like, and I described the characters, and I had a couple stories I told about my father and my brother. I told the story about my brother, who actually is a police officer and was divorced and living at home at the time. And I talked about his kind of tongue-in-cheek attitude about whenever something good would happen to me, he would be, well, look, I gotta face people with guns for a living, and you go on stage and tell your little jokes for a living, and look at Raymond, everybody loves Raymond. Yeah. That's actually where the title came from. Anyway, I met these 12 people, and I was looking for someone who I had a rapport with, who took to these stories. And when I met Phil, not only did he laugh at these stories and think they were hysterical, but he had a family a little bit like that himself. Yeah. So we bonded in sorrow in that way. After those meetings, we decided that Phil was the guy, and we told CBS that, and CBS approved. And I hooked up with Phil, and then, we met. I stayed in LA. Well, I don't know if I stayed then, but we stayed together for about a week or two to talk about what the show, this should be, this character, that character. And after that, I went home, and Phil went and wrote the script. And we had a script, and then we went to CBS with it. There were a lot of steps along the way where it could have been stopped, and each step was nervous. We would say, they're never going to approve the script. And we actually had to go in and pitch the show first. Right. And we went in and pitched the show. We sat around and told them, well, here's what it'll be. That guy right there. And,
very low concept.
Yeah, right, very low concept. They approved first they had to approve you writing the script. They had to authorize that. Then after the script, the big step was whether they would film the pilot or not, because that meant committing a couple $100,000.
More than that.
Yeah, and so they committed to the pilot, and then we had to cast it, and we cast it. I mean, there's all stories involved in there too. And then the big thing was, were they gonna, after we did film the pilot, was it good enough to get on the schedule? And at the last minute, we found out it was.